What the heck, man? No, these did not turn out good. The way I taught everything works. The way the printer printed today did not work.
If you're worried about your printing cuts not lining up perfectly when you use your EufyMake UV printer, this video is going to be for you because I'm going to fix that permanently. Today, I'm going to be making these baby milestone photo discs. I'm going to be using my xTool P3 and also my EufyMake UV printer. And I'm going to show you how we create a jig so we can line up our prints perfectly every single time. The reason why you want to follow along is I'm going to show you how we do a double-sided print without any type of waste. Making a jig is actually extremely easy and I do it for free. There's no paid software in any of this today. Now, if you're not interested in learning how to do the child milestone photos, that is okay because you can take what we learned today in this video and apply it to a bunch of different things. So let's head over to the free software where I show you how to create a jig and then we will go over into the xTool, cut out a jig, and then head over to the Eufy to actually print, and I can show you that it will all work all the time. Let's go. All right, so the program that we're going to be using for today's project is a free program called Inkscape. I have loved Inkscape for about 9 years now. I love it even more now that I have the EufyMake UV printer also with my xTool, my laser, because I can do all of my design work for both programs in one, and it's 100% free. Now, I would like to note, because I have done a lot of videos about Inkscape, and the one question I get is, I cannot find this app on my phone. This is not a app for a phone or an iPad. You will need a computer for today's project. But I would love to re-clarify that this is 100% free, which is absolutely amazing. So this particular SVG file is an SVG file that I have created and is for sale in my cardstock warehouse. So if you wanted to make these and you didn't want to do any design work, you could just start right here and we'd be able to get moving. Now, let's just say I'm going to cut these out later, but let's just say that I did not have this SVG file. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to make your jig just like what I have here. Okay. I am going to end up cutting out this particular SVG file and everything else, but just to show you, you know what I mean? Just so you know, I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to come over here, just over into what looks like a blank screen. Now for you, if you wanted to create this SVG file and you did not want to purchase it in my cardstock warehouse, what you would need to do is insert a circle. So all you would need to do is come over here into the left, click the circle, and just, click this circle and then draw a circle. It doesn't really matter what size you make the circle because we're going to change it up here in a second. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to come over here and press this arrow button. At this point in time, what you can do is you can unlock this and you can resize these to the size that you need. Now, I can't think in millimeters, so I'm going to come over here and change this from millimeters over to inches. And then I'm just going to resize this. You can resize it whatever size you want. So 3 inches by 3 inches. The hardest part about this project is going to be creating a jig that is going to fit not only in your laser that you're using, but also on the flatbed that you are going to be using for your EufyMake UV printer. Now, these pieces of acrylic, they're just clear pieces of acrylic. They fit nicely in my xTool P3 like this. Kind of like, what is this? Like a hot dog? Not like this, but like this. Maybe it's hamburger, but anyways, horizontal. They fit great just like this, okay? But they are, if I were to cut this out just like this, it is going to be too wide for my EufyMake UV printer. So we are going to accommodate for the height in my laser, but the width in my Eufy. Hopefully I didn't lose you there, okay? But just stay with me. You're going to want to have, if you're creating the exact same project as me, you're going to want to have the piece of acrylic on hand because we are going to have to accommodate for both, okay? Again, you could do this for anything. You don't even have to do these. You could do any other project. I have printed on golf balls using the same type of steps that we are doing today. Okay. So we have one, I've set it to 3 inches, and let's say you're going to want 12 of these, right? We're just like this, or I guess I did 13 over here. What you're going to want to do now is you're going to take this and you're going to copy and paste. So Command C, Command V. If you don't want to use your keyboard shortcuts, you can right click and do copy and paste. I prefer using my keyboard shortcut, so I'm going to select both of these now, copy and paste. And I'm going to put 13 of these on my screen. So at this point in time, what I need to do is determine how I can fit this not only in my xTool, but also in my Eufy, okay? So my piece of, my sheet, my piece of acrylic is going to be just shy of 12 inches in height. So selecting these four, is this 12 inches? Ooh, it's up over 12 inches. So what I need to do is either make these smaller or rearrange them to where it will fit in this right here, in this guideline, okay? So here is 12.2. So I'm just going to make my circles smaller. When I'm going to select all of my circles that I'm using, and I'm going to come over here and lock them into place. And I'm just going to make this smaller until it is less than 12 inches, because I got about 12 inches in here. Just shy. It's just shy of 12 inches. We'll make these just a little bit smaller. All right. Now, if you wanted to keep them messy like this, you totally could. But what I'm going to do is I am going to now clean this up a little bit. I'm going to align my things just so it's nice and straight throughout. So I'm going to select my second row, squish them together a little bit. My third row, squish it together. This one right here is going to need to come in a little bit. Now I'm going to select my first row here. I'm going to come over here into this align button. And I'm going to align these in the middle, and then also just like that, I'm going to distribute them evenly. I'm going to do the same for this one. Actually, for this one, I'm just going to align them in the middle. This one's the same thing, align in the middle, and align in the middle. All right, now I'm going to take my left row, and I'm going to center them just like this. Look at that. We are moving and grooving. Now, this is going to be our base. At this point in time, what you're going to want to do is also click on the text box. So come over here into this A, click on it, and just click wherever. And then you can just type in like 10 months or, 1 month, whatever. And then you would add in all of your texts that you would need. So let's put in, I'm just going to show you how to do one. So here is the 10. You can come over here, change this to light pink so we can see what we're doing. And then you would want to add this 10. And we're going to need a second text box. So Command C, Command V. And then we will add in, double click that. And that's awesome. Come over here into the arrow tool. And then we'll just make this smaller. Now, if you wanted to change your fonts over, all you would need to do is by clicking on one of your text boxes, you would come over here into this T button, and then you'd be able to select whatever text that you want to use. So we'll just come down here. Let's just check this boho one, and then you would just press apply. All right, so you would obviously want to do the same exact thing for every single circle that you have here to get you something that looks like this. All right, so I am going to take this and delete this because now this is what you're going to be left with. Something that looks like this, okay? All right, so now that we're here, there is one thing that we need to do to make sure that we are going to be able to have this perfectly aligned within the EufyMake UV printer. And that is by taking a box and putting it around our items that we're going to be cutting and then also printing on with the EufyMake UV printer. So we're going to come over here into the rectangle tool, and all you want to do is draw a rectangle. It's okay if you can't see what we're doing right now because we're going to resize that just like the circles that we did. We're going to resize that here in a second, all right? Now what I'm going to do is come up here into the arrow tool, and we're going to come up here and we're going to press this back. We're going to send it to the back. You can make this tight if you want. You can make this as large as you want. The only thing you have to remember is whatever your size is here, not only has to fit onto your piece of acrylic, but also then be able to take this and put it on the large flatbed or the EufyMake UV printer. So this right here, the width of it will fit onto the
EufyMake UV printer large flatbed. So if you're creating a jig for a golf ball, you're going to want your jig to fit within the small flatbed. Okay, so this right here fits perfectly on the small flatbed of my EufyMake UV printer, and this one that we're creating together is going to fit perfectly on the large flatbed. Okay, all right, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to resize this. I'm probably going to make it tight just because I like to not waste on material. Another option for making jigs, I have a 3D printer. I actually need to use it more often than I do, but you could create a jig on a 3D printer if you have one, and then you can have it forever. I mean, not to say that you can't have these forever. You definitely can, but acrylic is very breakable. It's like really fragile. The reason why I'm going to create the jig on this is because I also have to cut my circles on this, so I might as well use a jig if I'm going to be wasting it for the circles anyways. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't know. I have, like I said, this right here, this jig, I made this like 6 months ago, and it's still here. So as long as you take care of your jigs, even though they are fragile because they are acrylic, you can still use them over and over again. I do. Okay. So I'm going to make it kind of tight. And just to verify, this right here is a 11.84 inches in height, which is essentially going to be the height of my piece of acrylic. And then also 11.42 inches in width, which will fit into the large flatbed printer. Okay, so now at this point, we have our jig. We also are going to have our printing, and I'm going to be doing a double-sided print. These right here are double-sided. I cut clear acrylic, printed on one side, took them out, and printed on the top of this, okay? So what you're going to want to do is make 3 copies of these, or you're going to need 3 copies of these. So we have one. You want to select everything and copy and paste. Command-C, Command-V again. And we're just going to move this over here to the right. And then you're going to want to do that again. So Command-C, Command-V, because we need 3 copies. We're going to need 1 to cut on the xTool, 1 to print the color on the back, and another just for the names right here, okay? So coming over to the first one, because what we have to do first is cut everything out on the xTool, all right? So for that, what I do not want on the very first one is going to be, let me right click and press ungroup. What I do not want is going to be the letters on this. Why? Because I only want to cut out the clear circles. So we're going to take this and we are going to just delete all the letters. All right, then what we're going to do is we are going to take our pink square, or whatever color your square is, and we are going to come, let me move me up just a little bit. We're going to come over here to this, and we are going to right click on fill, and we are going to remove fill. Okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select just the stuff over here. Okay? We're going to come over here and press export. If you do not have this, okay, what you want to do is come up here and you're going to press file, and then you're going to press export, and this box will pop up. All right. We are going to change this over. So we're going to go into file, and I'm going to save it to my downloads file, and I'm going to let's do circles xTool milestone. Just save it whatever you want. I want to change this over from PNG to SVG. So we're going to do plain SVG. And then I'm going to make sure this right here also says SVG. All right, setting it to my downloads folder. We have an SVG. What you want to do is press save. All right, and it should be here in my downloads folder. So now what we need to do is we need to head over into the xTool program. So we're going to go over into xTool Studio. Here is the jig that I've already cut out. All you need to do at this point, I'm going to just drag this over here to the right. All you need to do at this point is take that jig that we just created, drag and drop it within the xTool Studio. And that is it, my friends. It doesn't resize. It doesn't do anything. So now what we get to do is turn on our xTool P3 and set this up. All right, so over at the xTool, what you want to do is open this up. Okay, so I've turned my xTool on, and what I am going to do is now connect to it. I am going to connect via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or whatever it is. You don't have to be connected to your computer. Okay, now with my xTool turned on, ready, and hooked up, you will notice that I have some sort of error message going on. I've never actually tried to figure out why it's not registering that or something like that. It seems to work perfectly fine. Now, I will have to tell you, I am not going to cut another one of these jigs because I don't need another one of these jigs. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually only going to cut more circles just so I can show you it actually works, okay? So I'm going to take mine and I am going to ungroup these and I am just going to cut out some more circles for you. So just doing circles. Now this cool xTool P3 is actually, did I just say cool? So I'm going to say cool again. It's really cool. Everything is like automatic. So I'm going to take a piece of acrylic that I've already cut before and I'm just going to lay it into my xTool P3. Now you are going to see this right here turn green. Then when it turns green, you want to close the gate. You don't want to do it slow because then it won't register or read right. So you want to make sure that you do it kind of fast, but you have to wait for that light in the lid to turn green. Otherwise it won't work. So if you are having troubles with your xTool P3 aligning it properly, that's the reason why, is because you're not waiting and then you're taking like you're like closing it too slow or too quick. Fluid motions. I have seen in a lot of the forums that people are complaining that they're not getting good like cuts and alignments and stuff like that, and it's because you're not waiting for that thing to turn green and you're just cutting the shutting the lid too slow. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my circles that I have and I am going to add these onto my piece of material. This is the reason why I love my xTool P3 so much, is because it has a camera on top of it pretty much being all automatic. It has a camera, so I can just take my pieces and like fit them into already cut acrylic, so I don't actually have to waste. Now I have a ton of lasers here in my craft room, and I've also played with a ton of lasers, and the one thing that I don't like about some of the lasers I've played with is the lack of camera, because I love being able to like maximize all of my material as much as possible. It does look like I am not going to get all 13 put into my sheet, so I'm just going to drop these down and I'll cut these two on a different material after I'm done with this. Okay, you want to make sure that you are set to cut. I am using 3mm acrylic. I know it's set to black. Don't worry about the color. It's really just the settings. The settings that I am using for my acrylic is going to be 100 power and 30 speed. I don't ever suggest using this is actually disclaimer, okay? Sometimes I'll use a setting and then somebody uses the same setting and it doesn't work for their materials. So take what I have as a starting point, do a test cut, and if it doesn't work, then adjust from my settings that I have. But if they do, great. But I don't trust me if you've never cut acrylic on your xTool P3, because the reason why is because my material, unless you have the exact material that I have, like the variances of thickness does change and it does affect your cut quality. Okay, so just so you know, I am going to press process at this point. It's going to take 1minute and 42 seconds to cut out these pieces of acrylic. I can tell you right now that I've had the xTool P2 and the P2S. I even had a Glowforge, the 3. Those are and I've also had an Epilogue. So I've actually owned 4 other CO2 lasers. This one right here cuts and engraves so much quicker than any other CO2 laser that I've owned. So I'm going to press start on here and the machine is going to beep. At this point in time, what I have to do is turn on my air assist fan. Also, if you are not, you need to vent out of a window or use an air filter. I am using I'm using the method of venting out of a window because I do not have the AP2 Max. You need the AP2 Max air filter in order to do the xTool P3. I have the original AP2 and that I use with the UV printer. Okay. All right. So turning this on, it's going to get loud in here. So bear with me on that. All right. We are going to press the happy button at the top of the machine. And the one thing that I love about this new machine is you get this really cool camera that's in there and you can monitor it. I never actually wanted one so bad until I now have it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this was genius. Okay, so now what we can do is we can actually, you know what, let's just wait until we get done cutting and then we'll finish up the rest of it just so you can actually hear me and I'm not hiding the noise of this one. All right, it is done cutting. So all I'm going to do is open up my hatch and then you just want to pull out your pieces of cut acrylic. Okay, now that we have that, I have a couple more pieces that I have to cut, right? So I'm just going to put in some scrap material in here, make sure they're nice and flat. I'm going to wait for my light to turn green. And now I'm going to shut the lid. All right, now that we have that done, we can open up our hatch, take out the last remaining pieces. If you were cutting multiples of these, like if you wanted to make 7 sets of these, you would just need to, at that point, you don't need to cut another jig. All you need to do is cut more circles. So just like what I did, all you need to do is cut the circles, okay? So let's shut our xTool. And I'm going to turn this off just because it gets kind of annoying and loud in here when it's on. Then what we need to do, right here, these two crystals. Okay, so ahead of time, if you are sitting here listening to me, ahead of time, what you can do is peel off only one side. Don't touch. Try not to touch what we've already peeled, but only peel off one side of your masking tape. The reason why is because I don't want you to get the other side dirty when we lay this down onto the beds. We will peel it when we flip and print on the other side later. So just so you know, we want to peel only one side. All right, so I'm going to now go back over into the Inkscape program. This is my old one. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not what I wanted. Right here. Awesome. Okay, so now we're going to work on slide 2. Slide 2 is going to be just the color. All right, so for this one, I'm going to select my circle that I have. And then I'm going to right click and press ungroup. All right. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take and I'm going to again delete all of the, what is this? The font. Delete all the font. You don't need the font anymore. Not for this one, because we're only going to print the color. Now I'm going to take my rectangle. I'm going to keep my rectangle for right now. Just that helps with aligning later. Okay. So I am going to now take my stroke. I'm going to unfill this. So I'm going to right click and press remove fill. So it just looks like that. We now want to only work on the circles. Okay. So I'm going to select only the circles and I want to remove my stroke right here, right click, remove stroke. But now I want to set in a color of my choice, okay? So all of these right here are available. They're just like stock ready. They also have, if you come over here into these hamburger lines, they have a bunch of different other things that you can choose from. I just am on Inkscape default. You can pick a color. So let's just, like, if you wanted to pick brown, that's kind of like a poop brown. Like, if you wanted to, you totally could. I'm going to do light pink because I love light pink. Now, if you did not like any of these colors, you could come up here into this like ink dropper thing, and then you can like reset your color to whatever you want. Ooh, I like that pink. I like that pink. Okay. So if you want it blue, change it to blue. If you want it to be green or whatever, change it whatever. You can obviously adjust the color wheels here. If you had a specific hex code that you wanted to use, you can add that in here. So there's definitely a lot of other options that you can choose from. Also, if you had like a color, like let's say you wanted to use like this pink, you could just dropper it if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. Okay, so this is going to be my finished colors. Now, oh, the other thing too is if you wanted multiple colors, you totally could. You could just, change them. Like click one. That's actually cute. Let's do that. Let's just change this all to one color and do this. We're going to do 3 different colors. The last time I only did 1 different colors, but we can do 3. Okay, so now at this point, what we want to do is we're going to take this, selecting only the middle, okay? We're going to essentially go to the same thing. We're going to come over here, export. You've already seen this because we've been here before. And we are going to come over here into, before we do that, what I want you to do is I want you to change your DPIs over to 600. Increasing the DPIs increases the quality of your saved file. So I just prefer 600. You can change it to higher if you wanted, but I think 600 is perfectly fine. And then we're going to open up our folder, downloads folder, pink Eufy circle print. Okay. Then we are going to come down here into SVG and we are going to change it to a PNG, making sure that this one right here also says PNG. All right. So we have pink Eufy circle print PNG. We're saving it as a PNG just to double check. This says 600 DPIs. So now we're going to press save and it's going to go right here into my downloads folder. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the EufyMake Studio. Okay. I know that I only cut circles with you, but hold on. This right here is that jig that you just printed. I'm going to show you that it's going to work even if you like come back to it later at a later time and you're like, oh, I now decided I want to print more birthstones. As long as you keep this and you like save your file to like the actual circles of this, you're going to be great. You don't have to recut another jig. Just save your jig, okay? Now, for me, what I have done is because I'm trying to be a better crafter, like a money saver crafter, I've actually taken and put some masking tape, paper masking tape over the top just to protect my workspace. This is definitely optional. I give you some money saving hacks in a different video, so if you wanted to watch that, you totally could. But I want to take this off just right now, just so you can see what I am doing, okay? Now, at this point in time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my jig, and you want to make sure that, let's pull up the Inkscape real quick. Okay, do you see how this is cut out with this right thing right here is over to the right? Do not put it like this with it facing you, okay? This right here is technically the front of, or the bottom of your mat, okay? You want it to look exactly like what we cut it out on your Inkscape, okay? So do not put this little side up here, down here, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to take it and I'm going to follow my grid and I'm going to put this nice and straight following my grid. Don't make it crooked. Don't put it in like this, okay? Don't put it in like that. We're going to make it nice and straight and we're going to put it all the way to the right. We're going to follow that white line. The dotted white line, we're going to put it in there. Okay? We're going to press this down. Press it down so it's nice and sticky. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your circles with the masking tape peeled, remember, and all you're going to do is lay them into your jig. Okay? Making sure that it's nice and straight on your thing. Once you put it on there, it should not be sticky. I need to find my Gorilla masking, or my Gorilla. It's silver Gorilla tape is what you need. It really helps, like, especially if you're peeling masking tape off acrylic. That right there is like the most helpful piece of supply. A weeding tool pick obviously works just fine. And I know a lot of people, when they make these projects, they just paint the one side one color. And then they take vinyl and they print on the other. Look, there are 2 things about me about that goes along with this project. The first is that I cannot stand waiting for paint to dry. It sounds terrible. That does not sound like a good time. The second thing is I cannot stand working with vinyl. This is why this printer, having this printer in my craft room now, was like a absolute godsend, because I don't like weeding vinyl or painting. And so now I can have a printer do all of that for me. It can print, paint. It can do what vinyl could do. You could print DTF stickers if you wanted to, and then use the stickers on there, but like, why do that? Also, these right here, I don't know if I showed you this or not, but the ones that I originally printed, let me show you this one. Look, it's raised up. Ain't that so cool? Printed on one side, this on the other. Awesome possum. Looks so good. All right, notice that I did not peel the other side of the masking tape. The reason for that is we're taking these circles and we're putting them down onto the stickiness of this. I don't want you to ruin your acrylic, okay? Also, I try not to touch the tops of these because I don't want my fingerprints or grease or like oils of my fingers to get on these. So definitely want to make sure you don't touch all of that. Now at this point, what we're going to do is we are going to put this inside the EufyMake UV printer. So all we need to do, make sure your machine is pulled out from the wall, especially if you're using the large flatbed, just because it is so large that it needs to accommodate both the front and the back. So we're just going to lay this in and then lock it into place, okay? And then coming back over into the computer, we're going to go into the EufyMake Studio software yet again, and we're going to come up here and press the plus sign. And now, at this point, what we want to do is press snapshot. Now, I would like to pause here that if you are printing on acrylic, what I would strongly suggest is put some rubbing alcohol or something onto your acrylic for the best adhesion possible. Also, EufyMake does also sell like an adhesion prep pad. I've used them in previous videos. I actually ran out and have been begging for them to send me some because they are so good. They absolutely work wonders on glass if you're printing on glass. So just keep that in mind. I did not. You clearly saw that. I did not, and I'm not going to have any issues. I did not prep these either, and they're fine as well. But, you know, just I always like to preach, prep your surface, and then I end up not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take that saved PNG file, and I'm going to drag and drop it into the EufyMake Studio software. Now, theoretically, what should happen is I need to take this and I need to print it all. I need to drag it all the way down to the bottom right-hand corner because that's where we put our thing, okay? At this point in time, what I am going to do is click out of that. I'm going to come over here into unknown material, and I'm going to select acrylic because that's what we're printing on. And then what we need to do is we actually need to change the way that we're printing this, okay? Because we are technically printing on the back of these, and when we flip them over, we're going to print on the top with the wording. What you need to do is instead of doing white and then CMYK, what we need to do is we need to reverse that. We are printing on the back. So what you need to do, instead of doing white and CMYK, we need to come down here and we need to press CMYK and then white. So because we're printing on the back, just like this, it's going to print down the layer of color first and then put white on top. Now, if you do not print white on clear acrylic, what will end up happening is it will kind of look translucent. I was going to say opaque, and that's not right. Those two words confuse this girl beyond measure. But if you do not print a layer of white, you will end up having a transparent. I almost messed it up again. You'll have a transparent disc, and that's not really what you want. You want something that has a lot of color to it. So we want to do first a layer of CMYK and then a layer of white to go on this. Now, if you were just going to print, like, let's just say you only wanted to only do the color and also the wording all on one side. I did it on the opposite sides, but let's just say you want to do it on one. You could have just done the standard, but I clearly did not. Now, there looks to be a little bit more alignments that I'm going to have to do here. So with my thing selected, I am just going to use my keyboard and just kind of toggle this over. If you do it with your mouse, it's a little like, it kind of like herky jerks you. So instead, I'm just using my keyboard. And you can see like, I'm just making sure that everything is nice and lined up. Okay. At this point, we do have that leftover, if we zoom in, do you see how we do have that leftover black thing? If you want, you can get rid of that. Just making sure everything's lined up. Yes. If you want, you can get rid of that. All you would have to do is double click, and then you can like come here and cut this. You're just essentially trimming that thing. I am not going to. I don't really care. It's the smallest, thinnest black line. Ain't nobody gonna see it. And it's really, truly, like, all that extra work is not worth it to me. But I do want to make sure that all of this is nice and lined up and it looks nice and lined up. Okay. So now at this point, all you want to do, I'm going to do standard because I don't really care. You can use high quality if you want to. It takes longer. Do you get better quality? I'm not entirely sure. But I'm just going to press print. And then we are going to come to the... Now at this point, what is happening is my software is like beaming it over to the EufyMake UV printer. Beaming, I don't think is the correct term, but you follow me for the tutorials, not for the language, the professional language, right? Okay, so this is going to take a total of 4.6 milliliters. Okay. Now, the frustrating part about this is it actually used to tell you before this last update how much time it would take. It doesn't tell you that until you press go. Also, so sad, but you can press start here on the software instead of actually pressing the top of the machine. So you could do either or. I'm just going to press start. It's going to take a total of, it says 2 minutes and 42 seconds, but I don't think that that's actually true at all. If it takes 2 minutes, I will be shocked. I'm thinking it's going to take more like 30 to get this printed because it's pretty much a full sheet. But anyway, you know what? Since we're going to wait for this to get done printing, what we're going to do is we're going to head back over into the Inkscape program. So we'll go back into Inkscape, and we are going to go to slide 3. At this point in time, we have our circles. We have our circles cut, and we also have our circles printed. I mean, technically, we don't have our circles printed because they're not printed yet, but we will have them. So what we want to do at this point is instead of, we're going to click our thing, right-click, and press ungroup. Instead, oh, hello. Try again. Okay, so instead of deleting our, what are these? Our fonts, our lettering, what we're going to do is we're going to take and delete our circles this time, leaving only our lettering and that box. Remember, that box is what helps us align everything. But I don't want to keep the circles because I don't want to print those. Okay. Now at this point, what you want to do, we can take this box and we can come over here and we can remove the film. Boop, right click, remove film. And then what we're going to do, if you want to change these over, you can keep it blue if you want, if blue is what you're looking for. Or we can do the same thing that we did with the colors over here, and we can just make this whatever color you want. I'm going to right click and press set fill to white. I want these to be white because I think, let's see, if we drag this over to here, these are going to look so good, right? Okay, drag it back. All right, you can change it whatever color you want. If you want a different color, you totally can. I love this. All right, just like with our colored circles, what we're going to do is select everything, including our box, okay? So we're going to click that. We're going to be in export and selection. At this point in time, you shouldn't have to change your DPIs. It should automatically save for you. But we are going to come over here into the folder, and we are going to do months in white, or you can name it whatever you want. We are going to save it to my downloads folder and click PNG and press save. let's go back over into the EufyMake Studio software and go back over. Oh, see, remember it said it was 5 minutes and now it said 37? That sounds about accurate. That sounds about right. I'm like, there's no way it's going to be 5 minutes. All right. Then we are going to come over here into Canvas. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to work in the same canvas that I was working in, okay? Because this right here is perfectly aligned. So we're going to have the same great alignments. So we are going to come over here and find our PNG file and drag and drop it into the EufyMake Studio software. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this and I'm going to line it up with the box that I already have on my screen. So just like that. Do you see how my boxes, let me unclip this. Do you see how my boxes are like overlapping each other? Maybe this one needs to be dropped down just a little bit. We'll overlap it just like that. Okay. So my boxes are overlapped. That's perfect. That's going to be perfect alignment, okay? Now, at this point, what I need to do is come over here into layers. I need to click my pink ones or whatever color you ended up printing, and we're just going to delete that. This is what's going to be left over, is this right here, okay? At this point, what you can do is you can actually change this over. Instead of doing white and CMYK, you can just do white because I'm only doing white. However, if you are using a color, like if you chose black lettering or any other color but white, make sure and just do white and CMYK. I'm going to do white just because I am only printing white, okay? All right, at this point in time, what we have to do, this is all set up. It may look like nothing, but that's okay. We need to wait for this to get done printing. So 35 minutes, and then we will be able to take these out, flip them, and print on the top of them. So I will see you back in 36 minutes. Now, clearly, we still got some printing to do. It's 95% of the way complete. However, on the Eufy, you won't be able to see it, but you can obviously see that I have some that have pulled out, right? So all I'm going to do is take my weeding tool pick. This thing is actually really cool because I'm going to hold my jig down into place, and I'm just going to pick up my acrylic circles. All right, so I was just able to get out the ones that have already fed through the machine, and we have something that looks like this. Oh, my hair count. Something that looks like this, where it is going to be very white. That is okay, because what you're going to do at this point is you're going to take this, take your weeding tool pick, and come on. I know. It's exhilarating. Okay. All right, there we go. There we go. Finished disc. So I already peeled off one. Here is the second one. And then you're going to keep doing the same thing. Just like with the very first time that we peeled off the masking tape, try not to touch the tops with your fingers because we're going to print on top of them. And you want to make sure that you don't put like your skin oils and stuff like that over the top of them. Also, we should be prepping our items. Say as I do, not as I say. What? Do as I say, not as I do, is what I mean to say. So, we're going to peel off the rest of these now. I am going to need to be mindful about how I put these back into the Eufy because I do have 3 different colors. So I'm just going to stack them up in the 3 different colors. This is actually pretty good. That's really good. Okay. Now what I would suggest is when you're, because we've already set up the layer 2 on this, don't take your, what is this? Your jig. Don't take your jig out because we've already set it up to be perfect for our print 2. You know what I mean? So without moving your jig, you just want to take out your blanks. They're no longer blank because we already printed stuff on it. And continue peeling the masking tape off. Now, with the masking tape, let's come over here. We're going to press finish. And then we're going to come back over here into our canvas. We can't do snapshots because we don't have our discs put in place. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to put them back in the order of which we had them in. So let's reference back to this. Okay, we have light, light whites, or not light white, light pinks are going to go into the far left. So we're just going to lay these into the far left. And then we have medium pink is going to go in the middle. And then we have a darker pink is going to go to the right. And then just keep on peeling until you're done. What happened? What is that? This one looks fun. No, it's off. Well, something happened to my dark pinks. I don't know why. Let's go back here. I'm pretty sure my magentas are full. Look at that. My magentas are full. What is going on here? Look at yeah. We are this was not good prints. Not at all. Ain't that a bummer? What the heck, man? Oh my gosh. It's on. No, these did not turn out good. I mean, the concept. What? Oh my gosh. This is terrible. Look at these. These are all supposed to be pink, and they ain't. Maybe this one is, but like, this is all supposed to be a certain amount of colors, and it ain't. This is terrible. Well, the concept still holds true. I'm going to put them in here because might as well I've already printed them just so I can show you that my jig actually works. I can't control the way the Eufy decided to print any of these. I'm actually kind of annoyed, can you tell? Okay, we're going to go into Canvas and we'll just press a snapshot. I put them in there and we're going to print them. I'm obviously not going to gift this. I had a person I was going to gift these to, but obviously that's not going to happen yet. So, bruh. Okay, going back to the EufyMake Studio software. It's perfectly aligned. Look at that. Perfect. No issues. If you wanted to make them raised like I have, you know how these are raised? If you wanted to make them raised, all you would have to do is come over here and press flat raised. Be mindful though that when you do that, it takes longer to do. So these ones right here for the amount that I did, these 13. I think I did like 2 millimeters or something like that high, and it took like an hour and a half. It took a long time. You have to excuse my annoyance. I know somebody's gonna come and be like, "Oh my gosh, why are you being rude?" Because I'm annoyed that we just went through all of this, and this is what my final results are gonna look like garbage. So I'm not gonna waste my time or yours to do a flat raise. So I'm just gonna do flat, and let's just press print, just so I can show you. You know what I mean? That like, if your printer actually printed like it was supposed to, we don't have an issue. Eufy has been having issues with their magenta ink. I did have a magenta issue a few months ago. Like, it was about a month and a half ago. I wonder, and now it's going to say it's 2 minutes and 46 seconds. That's not right either. But see, look, my magenta is full. And like a month and a half ago, I had an issue with my magenta ink clogging, and that was something that Eufy had talked about. We fixed it. I had that issue a while ago. I haven't had that issue since, but clearly we got a problem. And it's only with the pink because the blue turned out fine. So are we back to having a magenta issue? I don't know. But we'll just wait and see how long this is going to take. It says 2 minutes, but like it's not. It's longer than 2 minutes. I'm going to say it's going to be about 20. Oh, there we go. 17 minutes. So I'll see you back in 17 minutes where I show you the finished, not good project. You are seriously never going to believe this. I was just sitting here waiting for this stuff to get done printing, and even the white is messed up. I cannot believe I'm saying this. And I am posting this video because that's just what I do here. But not only did the color turn out terrible, but so did the quality of this. And I have no idea why. I have never... Hold on. Let's just get an apples to apples of what you're supposed to see. Okay. This is what I just printed without you. Fast forward, I go to record, and this is what I print with you. What is going on here? Not only do I have a terrible print quality on the color, but also the pixelation of this. Gross. Come on now. Come on now. Anyway, everything's centered. The jig works. The jig works. The way I taught everything works. The way the printer printed today did not work. So there's that. Well, I'll have to go talk to Eufy to see what in the world is going on with my printer because this ain't good.